Hello, just making a quick video here about some issues which we have been bombarded with. Many emails about some of these issues. I wrote down three or four things, but I start talking about one thing and then I start talking about other things, and I never end up talking about the thing I was supposed to, what I had in my mind. So I wrote a few things. So let me address some things just because people have been sending so many messages about this. Number one, Mr. Donald Trump. We have been receiving a lot of messages about how wonderful Trump is because he's going after the pedophiles and all these children are being saved. Okay, number one, I believe that's the case, but you have no evidence of that. Are the Clintons in jail? Is anyone in jail? Have you seen anybody with handcuffs? Big bankers or the royal family of England? Have you seen anyone actually on footage being sent to jail in front of a judge? No. Have you seen any videos of children by the thousands? Because the internet now says all these thousands of children are being saved. Have you seen any these thousands of children coming out of these tunnels? No. So don't get so excited about it just yet. I can tell you what I know. What I know is that yes, Trump is. There's a whole task force that Trump put together to get rid of a lot of pedophiles, pedophile networks. So he's trying to put a lot of pedophiles, important pedophiles, in jail, save children, but only Democrat pedophiles, not Republican pedophiles. Remember who you are dealing with. Trump is a meta hybrid. What's going on there, and it's obvious if you are aware of what's going around you. Never America been so divided since the Civil War, the American Civil War. Never. So there's this big war at all levels within the American society, the American politics and politicians and places of power between the Democrats and the Republicans. Never that this country has been so divided since the Civil War. So what's going on there is that it's an internal war. Okay? It's internal. Don't think that the war, the big scheme, changed. It hasn't changed. There's still the two sides. But I'll talk more about that in a second. What's going on there? Imagine, okay, a mafia family, and the boss of the family dies. There's going to be an internal war in the mafia family. This cousin wants to be the next boss. His brother wants to. His second cousin wants to. Some other guy wants to. And they'll fight and kill each other within the same family. But they will get together and fight a different family and forget about those divisions for a while. Okay? So what's going on there is it's a family fight. It's between cousins. There's Vlash hybrids, there's Metr hybrids, they're all fighting each other over power, over influence, over future plans. And the powers above, the real Metr, and the real Vash, the aliens, they let them fight. They can even let this fight that's going on right now keep going for 100 years, as long as they keep fighting Carishus and Anunnaki. What's going on? That's within the family. That's a intern war over power. Never forget that. No matter how much they're fighting, how much they call each other's names, and oh, one goes to jail, another one this, another one as the FBI opens a report. That's internal fights, family fights. But the families, when they see a danger from the outside, they'll forget those internal fights and they'll get together and fight the other family, the outside danger, the threat. Now, so what I know about Mr. Trump is that yes, he has this task force and he's doing. I haven't seen anybody getting arrested and thousands of children coming out of tunnels. That's just internet chit chat. People that want to see that, or they want views on their channels. But so on one hand, you have Donald Trump fighting pedophiles, but only Democrat pedophiles. And as a consequence, children are being saved or will be. I don't know yet. But at the same time, we'll never forget Trump is part of the system. Trump is part of the system. He's been part of the system for many years, since he was around 20 years old. Not a saint, not a holy man. He's part of the system. He's just having some family problems because he pissed off a lot of people in his family. The family of Republicans and his Republican family and his Democratic family. He pissed off a lot of Republicans. A lot of Republicans hate him. They were hating him during the campaign. Anyway, what I know is that it takes away the power of Democratic pedophiles and he gives it to Republican pedophiles. He's not going after Republican pedophiles. There's plenty of them. You don't hear that on the internet right now, on YouTube. All you hear is these rumors, these stories, these fake news about him going after the pedophiles, all these Clintons and stuff. What, suddenly there's no Republican pedophiles? Think about that. It's a family dispute. He's in power right now, so he says he has more power than the Democrats. Real power. But it's all a family fight. I say, well done, Mr. Trump, if you're after, to destroy the Democratic pedophiles. But on the other hand, there's plenty of Republican pedophiles. He closes his eyes. Don't be fooled. Things are staged, choreographed, like I've shown a million times, in ways that 99% of the population cannot comprehend. For example, recently, when he left the White House by foot, if you don't know what I'm talking about, search it. He left the White House by foot, with the roads cleaned up first of people screaming and shouting and throwing rocks. Then he went to that church where he showed up there and took a photo with a Bible in his hand. See, people, like most of you, remember the footage of him leaving the White House by foot, because you don't see that every day, and you remember him in front of the church with the Bible, saying the things he said. But how about the walk itself? Did you pay attention? Did you pay attention where he walked? He walked in front of this building, looked more like an abandoned house. Did you see all the things that were written on the wall? Did you pay attention to all the messages that were there and the numbers? No, you did not. And yet, that was the most important part of that walk that he did from the White House to the church. The most important part, it was not him leaving the White House, historical moment. American president just walks out. And it was not in front when he arrived at the church, chit-chatting with the Bible in his hand. No, no, no. The most important part of that little walk of his was here in the middle, when he walked in front of a certain wall, and there's all these messages and numbers and symbols. But nobody paid attention to that. None at all. And yet that was the point of the whole trip. Such it. That's what Google is good for. Not for the truth, but to find the truth. You have to do your homework. Look around, you'll find it. It was choreographed. Choreographed. Everything is choreographed at the big level. The only things that are not choreographed is when they're like in having a debate or something and they lose their temper and they say some crazy shit. Ignore that. There's the dingo taking my baby or something. No, they're just my two dogs not liking each other. Anyway, no, my dog and the neighbor's dog. So anyway, everything is choreographed, and not only on their side, our side choreographs a lot of things too. Oh yes, oh yes. For example, Ronald Reagan, a guy that served the cause, he said a lot of things on TV, live. He said at one time he said, I would support Donald Trump to become president. Ronald Reagan, who served the cause, he said, I would support Donald Trump. Now, are you confused? Don't be. That was him sending a message to our side when he could not talk openly about it. These were still USA, USSR days. Everybody was being spied, like now even more, but at that time also. So we exchanged plans by choreographed messages. This is not even so complex to understand. You know how these days people say, oh, he's bad, when actually people mean he's good, things like that. When he said, I support, it was the opposite. Watch out. That was a message to us. Because at that time, you could not just pick up the phone and say it. But we have things set up in such a way, very complex way, that you pretty much can say any crazy stuff and we understand. We use it, the other sides use it. It's choreographed. double entendre, and many other ways. He said other things, Reagan said other things that people at the time were a bit confused. Like he said, I will revenge JFK's death and all the now he's defending Democrats. We had JFK and Reagan serving the cause. But people don't think. Why would Reagan be defending a Democrat president and doing, I'll do this and do that and revenge this? When he's Republican. He could just shut up. If he was a normal Republican, he'd just shut up. Don't say anything. No, he made a point of saying that. Because that's the other American president to serve the cause. People just like, oh, he's just a nice man. He just wants justice. No. This was something else. Anyway, another thing that people are sending us a lot of messages these days. Obviously, it's about this the riots going on in America. George Floyd got killed. This all started. Do you think this is about George Floyd? It's not about George Floyd. Many black people get killed every year in America and many other places. This didn't happen. Many black people got killed, caught on camera. Never happened. Not this kind of riots and lootings and all these demonstrations that I've been seeing these days everywhere. Mr. George Floyd was a spark, the spark to start a fire. Understand? A spark. He was not a saint. He was not a holy man. Mr. George Floyd, nobody should be dying, getting shot for Mr. George Floyd. He was not a saint, a holy man. He was not someone you put on a pedestal. He was the spark to start a fire. Understand? Could have been someone else, some other black guy with a different name. It didn't matter. Now, who started the spark and why? That's very complex. There's a part where one side started it because they had a plan, and the other side allowing it because we too have a plan. It is a war. This is not, the YMCA. This is not a grandma's quilting club. There's a war. People die every day fighting this war. Let me say this. Let's say that we, our side, knew that side were going to do this, to start a spark. And that spark would start a fire. We knew. And maybe we could have avoided, but we didn't want to. How about that? That's a version. Is it a true version? I'll talk about it later on. Just like later on, I will talk about the COVID-19 issue. I said I'll make a video about common sense. People have started to waking up about this COVID-19 coronavirus. But I said, I'll make a video about it when things calm down. And I will. But as you see right now, nobody's really worried about COVID-19 anymore. Now it's the riots and the lootings and Mr. George Floyd and all that. How things change. Suddenly there's no social distancing. Everybody's by the millions outside, thousands. Oh, what happened to the coronavirus? Because according to what people were telling us, you get together with more than 10 people and 100 will die. You cannot. You have to stay separately. Now, for the last 2 weeks, in America alone, but in other countries, they're together by the dozens of thousands. Did you see huge, suddenly, amount of new coronavirus cases popping up and people dying? It should. Just, just what, 10, 14 days ago? If you see 3 people together, now one of them is going to die. Meanwhile, in the last 14 days, people are getting together by the dozens of thousands and fighting and everything. You don't see the cases spiking up 300, 500, 1,000%, and people dying. No, didn't change. Didn't change. So when I was talking a couple of months ago that I was to make a video about the common sense of this coronavirus pandemic, panic of the mind, I already knew what was being planned. The part 2 of the plan. Part 1, pandemic. Part 2, the riots. This is the plan for America. There's plans for other countries too. I'm just talking about you, what listening to me. And then there's going to be a third stage. But we're not there yet, so I'm not going to talk about it. But are you connecting the dots? I don't need to connect a 2017, 2022 dot to you. I've been telling you for 12 years. And here we are, right in the middle of it. Right in the middle of the period I've been telling you, warning you for all these years. Well, look at the world now. Maybe it was just a coincidence, don't worry. Anyway, so Mr. Floyd. Nobody deserves to be dying, getting hurt for Mr. Floyd. Sorry for him. He probably didn't deserve to die. He was no saint, no holy man, but I don't think he killed anyone or anything. But people right now, where everybody is so focused on the riots and this and that, and Black Lives Matter, and what's the thing? I can't breathe. I can breathe almost every day. I'm a smoker. I smoke like 3 packs a day. And I also got fought by cops. Yeah, I don't bitch too much about it. Our people cannot breathe. Our people have not been able to breathe for 17,000 years. And we have been killed with knees on the neck, bullets to the head, you name it. Lynched, mass murdered, impaled. We haven't been able to breathe for 17,000 years. So I know very well how Mr. Floyd must have felt. But Mr. Floyd was just a pawn, a spark to start the fire in this huge war. The people who suffer the most in these situations is the people that live behind, the family, the kids, the children. That's the people who hurt the most. But like I was saying, this situation first was coronavirus, and now Mr. Floyd. Meanwhile, just 2 days ago, there was an eclipse of the moon. Are you aware? Because most people are not. They're watching CNN and this and that. Oh, there's these riots here and this looting here. Nobody gives a shit about the sky anymore suddenly. Nobody gives a shit about the eclipse. If this eclipse was like 3 weeks ago, all these conspiracy theories and all pointing the cameras at, do I see an alien? Oh, pointing at the eclipse. Oh, these aliens are coming. Well, actually, they did, but nobody was paying attention because of all this bullshit. They did, and many. It was probably the most busiest night in the skies for the past 3-4 years, maybe more. I showed the video. I published it. All these ships from Karish's friends and allies, everybody taking off. But not too long ago, during this eclipse, just 2 days ago, we had the same kind of transit in the skies, but coming down, coming back. Those other ones, the weak, which one day I hope to deal with, left. Cowards. And not just like these internet warriors typing stuff in their mother's basements with their greasy fingers. Bunch of cowards. So, same thing with these alien races. Friends and allies or former allies. The video is there. Watch it. They left. 2 days ago, on the day of the eclipse, we had double the amount coming to Earth from all kinds of places. They'll replace these cowards that left. But everybody's, so busy about Mr. Floyd and all the riots. Nobody was paying attention to the skies. They were paying attention to the TV. And so these UFO channels, alien channels, they don't have the footage because they're not paying attention. Excuse me, just a second.
I was paying attention.
Oh, someone in front of me is saying, I was paying attention. Like, I know. I wasn't, because I knew what was happening up there. So I was staying, I was inside the house doing other stuff.
Different kind of ships, I saw.
The person in front of me is saying, I saw all kinds of different ships, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's true. It's true. The number of ships that arrived during that eclipse is double, at least, the number of those cowards that left. Yeah, but no, entertain with this, give them that. Abracadabra. Magic number. Make people look here so that they don't see what's going on here. See? Anyway, to finish this video, which I thought would only last like 7 minutes, but it's already 30 minutes, 28 minutes. I'll be very busy in the next even more busy than usual in the next few weeks and months, but especially in the next 2-3 weeks, because we have a huge situation in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia and Lebanon, mainly, not only, but mainly Saudi Arabia and Lebanon. Just the last 24 hours, 90% of my Azazians have been either killed or arrested and are being tortured right now, the ones that were not killed. 90% of the Azazians working in the Middle East, especially in Lebanon and Saudi Arabia, have been killed or arrested and are being tortured right now as we speak. They're getting their nails pulled out, getting needles stuck in their eyes, screwdrivers going through their ears, literally. But don't worry.
Still point. There is.
Mr. Floyd
Mm.
is the distraction right now. You know, in between, they talk about a bit of coronavirus, throw China in the middle. Yeah. Meanwhile, the ones who are actually doing something for you are right now, as I speak, getting drills through their ears in order to speak. And the videos, which one day I will show you, but not yet. Videos of Azizans being tortured. All kinds, you can't even imagine. Can't even imagine how they're being tortured. Are being sent to us. And we have to watch it. The funny thing is that there's a few people that who serve the cause, then betray the cause, and because they betray the cause, they are partly responsible for what's going on right now in the Middle East with the Yazidis. And that too I will address one day. So, have a nice day. Enjoy your riots. Enjoy the spark and the fires. Enjoy the coronavirus and all that bullshit. And I leave you with one last thing. One last thing. No, I changed my mind. I'm not going to. In a few days, I'll make another video and I'll tell you this. I don't want to bring too much of our side into this conversation because what I've been telling you is planet-wide, and what I wanted to tell you was personal. I don't want to bring this video into a personal thing, so ciao, salam alaikum, whatever you like to say. Have a good night.